It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Welcome to Context. And today we've got a great show, specially wrapped up, ready to give to you.
That's right. Today we'll be exploring how different cultures around the globe celebrate Christmas and the sacred meaning of the season. Also, singer-songwriter extraordinaire Jully Black is on the show to bring us some good musical cheer. Let's get right into it. All right, so fun Christmas fact for you. You might be surprised to know caroling, which had its start in the 19th century, didn't always have to do with Christmas. In fact, the origin of caroling and visiting homes dates back to Victorian England as church carols started to merge with Christian folk music. When the Christmas season began to grow in popularity, writers started pumping out carols. Many were hymns. Many of today's hits date to that period. Songs like The First Noel, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and my personal favorite, Adele's Hello. I'm joking. I'm just joking about that. Well, here to help kick off Christmas season in song, another fan favorite. Please welcome Canadian icon, singer-songwriter, Jully Black. Awesome job, Julie. You'll hear more for coming up. But listen, more than 2 billion people celebrate Christmas around the world every year. It's celebrated through a variety of cultural traditions. Now, look at this. Now, this, honestly, everyone here and those at home, it actually surprised me. If you're in Serbia, you might have already engaged in the tying up of mom and dad ritual. Now, 2 Sundays before December 25th, the children tie up their mom. To be freed, mom must now pay a ransom in the form of gifts. The following Sunday, well, it's dad's turn. And I should note for children watching, these gifts that are ransomed, they are the Christmas gifts. There's no additional gifts given on Christmas morning. And I'm sure some kids watching are having some ideas right now. But listen, our first guest will be sharing cultural traditions of her own from Sweden and the importance of the season. Please welcome Solveig Lala to Context. Welcome, Solveig. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome,
Glad to be here.
Welcome. Well, listen, I've been looking forward to this interview all day, and I'm sure we'll know why in a little bit, but let's get right into it. It's one of the biggest celebrations which have passed and is celebrated in Sweden is St. Lucy's Day on December 13th. For those who may not know, give us a picture. What is this about? Because I know there's a faith and Christ link in it.
Well, Sancta Lucia, the actual, although we've celebrated it and presented the pageant at Harborfront recently, the actual celebration is December 13th.
That's wonderful.
So St. Lucy was a Sicilian martyr, and she was martyred in Syracuse. And she symbolizes light because they tried to burn her at the stake, and the flames wouldn't touch her. So she wears a crown of candles to symbolize the flames. Light is very important in the northern countries because it's dark this time of the year. And December 13th, according to the old Julian calendar, was the longest night of the year. Wow. The tradition of St. Lucia, nobody is really quite sure how it got up to Sweden in particular, but it was brought either by monks, some even say Vikings. And then there's a tradition that she appeared in one of the central lakes in Sweden during a famine to share food with the masses.
Wow, wow.
And it's a big celebration. It's when Christmas really starts in Sweden and in earnest.
Okay, baking also plays a big role in the Christmas Eve. In Christmas, it's a big element of feasting in there. Tell us about some of these Sweden Christmas treats that come out this time of year.
There are two, if you're looking at baking, there are two really, really strong traditional things. There's the Lucia buns, which are in the shape of an S, and they are baked with saffron. So they have a glowing yellow color and an amazing taste.
I have to ask, did you bring some of these buns with you?
I actually did.
So very nice.
And
that's why I was looking forward to this, because of it.
And gingerbreads.
Oh, now, enough for them, or is it just me, because I know I'm your favorite?
I don't know, we can draw lots.
Okay, we can draw lots. Okay, talk to us a little bit more about that, yeah.
Christmas baking traditions center around spices and things like that because, of course, we don't have a whole lot of fresh stuff, so we rely on spices and nuts. And we have to prepare 7 kinds of cookies before Santa will come.
My last question to you, Solveig, is in terms of your personal walk and in connection to God, how does that Christ story inspire you personally?
Well, every day, you look at this child that was given to us and in difficult circumstances and was protected and was allowed to share his gift by a loving God, and you need to follow in that tradition. I mean, you have to know that that love is going to bear you through everything.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being on our program. Solveig Lala serves as the chair of the Church Council at the Swedish Lutheran Church. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you
so much.
And it's the only Swedish church in Canada.
That is wonderful news to know. And that means you're the only chair in Canada that brought me cookies to eat after this interview, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, she kicked off the show with a great rendition of Silent Night, crowd favorite as much as I heard here as well. Now, joining me back now to chat about the meaning of the Christmas season, what it means to her, her own holiday cultural traditions, and how her own personal faith, how it fits into it all. Please welcome back Jully Black. Welcome, my friend.
Hello.
How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Well, welcome to returning. It's good to see you.
Thank
Good to see you.
you.
How you feeling? Good?
Feeling wonderful.
Good. Well, I mean, you kicked off the show singing Silent Night. Let me ask you a question. Why choose that song? It has a special meaning, or?
Yes, actually, it's one of those songs that I get to say Christ and Jesus in the same song. I've been asked in the past, recent past, to not sing the word Jesus, and I had to say no. It shows, and various companies that wanted to, could we just make this a holiday thing?
Yeah, a holiday thing.
I said, I'm not going to take the Christ out of Christmas.
Now, how important it is for you to kind of now bring in the name Jesus and Christ and kind of perhaps be more true to what you're feeling and through music in your song?
It's very important because that's my beliefs, that's how I was raised. But beyond that, I think that we advertise so many things that have zero meaning. Yeah. And my faith has lots of meaning. It's who I am. And I want to actually have the world see what, I just want to be the salt of the earth, When people think about Christianity and religion and Jesus, sometimes it's damnation and it's fear and it's the rapture and the end of the world. And it's like, man, look, I'm a Christian. We look like this too.
Yeah, we can have smiles on our faces.
We can have smiles, you know what I mean? I have piercings and tattoos. My mom, who's 79, old school Jamaican, Christian out the gate, like since she was a child. She raised all 9 of her kids saying to us, render your heart and not your garment. And even when I got tattoos, she said that, okay, render your heart and not your garment. She didn't look at it as some sort of, okay, you're gonna go, burn and sin, etc.
Now, in terms of, we hear the popular kind of phrase, Christ, the meaning of the season. What does that mean to you in terms of, the birth of Jesus Christ? It's an integral role, perhaps the meaning of this time. What is that to you?
Right, well, to me, this time kind of just brings us all together to think about it at the same time, but none of us really know if it was December 25th.
That's right.
Right, so what I like is that the whole world is thinking about it at the same time, and so but it's important for us to bring that into January, February, March, April, May, and all the rest of the months and years, days, minutes, seconds, hours, and so I just like that we actually stop and take a moment to be and to fellowship and to be with our family. So often we're just doing. We're pursuing and we're trying to earn this money and we're all that stuff. And it's just like, what, our life, our time, our family is the most important thing. And so the family of Christ is the most important thing.
You talk about coming together. A part of the show is all about looking across the globe at how different cultures, families, people coming together to celebrate Christmas. You and I have a similar kind of heritage, a Jamaican connection there. I gotta ask you, what is Christmas like in terms of your cultural traditions in your home? Let's start with food.
Food. Mom's been soaking the raisins and the rum cake. Has been saying, hey, you guys, seriously, if you guys want to order, it's called Mama Black's rum cake.
Mama, you should have brought some with you,
okay?
Man.
I'm going to put it on my social media. Seriously, she's been baking this, and because my mom's diabetic, she's found a way to make it a little bit low fat, low calories.
All right. Score.
Mama Black's rum cake is real life. When I talk about the rum and the wine, she said, Jesus
awesome.
drank wine, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I have to ask, has she passed on the secret to you on how to make it?
She hasn't passed it on to any of us. My eldest sister, there's 20 years between us. I'm the youngest of 9 children. So I'm 38, my sister's 58. And so far, Doreen knows how to do it. And I was just like, I'll just eat it, man.
So I gotta ask, Christmas dinner, if I knocked on your door and said, can you let me in? What did you bring to eat at the Christmas dinner?
Okay,
what is Jully's choice?
Let me give you a joke.
All right.
Last year, my mom decided she decided that she's gonna go on strike. She's not making the turkey. She called me, the youngest one, Jully, you're on turkey duty. See me on Google. I went to Walmart, got this roaster. Someone told me there's something about putting it outside. I was like, what about the raccoons? What if they come eat off my turkey outside? So typically though, I make a really mean salad. I know it sounds kind of, no, I know you're laughing, but but my salad is really like, I'm talking about, I put pears in there and cranberries. I put just lots of nice stuff in there. But I do the Stairmaster for about an hour so I could eat.
So you can eat. Okay, last holiday tradition, family sing-alongs.
family hum along, I'm the only one that can sing.
Oh, really? Really? So you got a leader. You're like the worship leader there in the home.
Basically, everybody else could draw. There's art through the veins for sure. But what I will say, and everybody, you should try this because my mom at 79 does this, Family Xbox Connect.
Really?
We all, the night before, seriously, we put on the Connect. You guys know about Xbox Connect? So we all, you get to tennis and bowling and see my mom jumping and doing all these things.
All right.
So that we kind of exercise in a fun way before we have the feast.
That's right. Yeah,
I'm telling you, get down with it. You'll be sweating. I put on my heart rate monitor, 600 calories.
Done. You know what you got to do this holiday season.
And I'm not even trying to, I don't have an endorsement. They didn't pay me to say that.
All right.
Please get down with the Xbox Connect.
Well, I have to ask you this. You know, sometimes with Christmas, it's going to be a tough time for some, a happy time for others. Let me ask you, and I want to make sure you got this right. Let's start toughest versus saddest Christmas. Let's start with the toughest time, perhaps.
Toughest was the 1989. December 26th, actually Boxing Day, my sister fell ill, Sharon, and by January 10th, she passed away. We did not know why. She was a triathlete, vegetarian, you name it. She just fell ill, and autopsy to this day, we don't know what happened. And so that was the toughest Christmas ever. And you know, sad, it's still sad in a sense, but what we recognize is that, like, you know, God, we all have an expiration and we all have a purpose, and her purpose was fulfilled. And interestingly enough, she had 2 children that one year, the year before, 1988. She had my nephew Andre in February and my niece Chantel that same December. Wow. And so interestingly enough, in the church, everybody was like, what do y'all, you know, it was fire and brimstone. But we recognized that my God knew he was going to take her in 1990. So my niece and nephew have each other, and my mom and the family, like, it brought us together in a way that every Sunday, since 1990, every Sunday, even if I have to go on FaceTime, we're together as a family.
Wow.
Every Sunday. So he said, you know what, Sharon, if you were the one that had to show us that we have to spend time, and it's important that we come together even once a week, get on the phone, yes, it's what we do. It's what we do. She was only 24 years old, but I tell you, you know, that was 24 long years, because eternity is it's right ahead of us.
How do you look at Christ being that inspiration for the world around this time of year? And what inspiration does he personally bring you in your faith journey?
Well, Christ, the inspiration Christ brings for me personally is that he wasn't camped out in the church. He wasn't chilling with people that already knew what was going on. You know, we have to remember that he was walking the earth. You know, he was basically being an example, and that's what my goal is. My role and responsibility as a Christian is just to be the salt of the earth, to be a living example. I want my life to be a living testimony. And that's what I believe Jesus was and Christ was at the time. Like, you know what? People are, especially when it comes to faith and fear, it's like, wait, there's a storm going on. Wait, just relax, man. Have faith. These are things, that storm is your bills. That storm is you might not have a job. That storm is your marriage might be rocky. Just have faith. You know, and one last thing, though, I recognize as a Christian that we're told to have faith, but we're not taught how. And I really hope as we continue and as the different generations of Christianity really just come in and talk about it more, we start to learn how to think as a man thinketh, as a man speaketh. My mom says, belief kill and belief cure, you know, those types of West Indian talks. I used to be like, what are you talking about? Now I get it.
Get it now.
Now I get it. That's, you know, so that's the faith. We have to understand that faith is, you know, the substance that will give me the things unseen.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Hope for.
Evidence of things not seen.
Not seen, right? Exactly. So we're not going to see it.
Very good.
We're not going to see it, but we definitely know how. We got to learn how to feel it and just trust.
My friend, you're welcome here anytime.
Oh,
Jully
thank
Black,
you.
everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, coming up, exploring Christmas traditions and faith links around the world. And plus, Jully Black is back with another great song.
This segment is brought to you by Bruce Etherington and Associates, Family Harmony and Philanthropy, helping you help others.
Well, China, the most populated country in the world, has some unique approaches to Christmas. And to help us understand a Chinese view of Christmas, please welcome Professor Grace Koh to Context. Grace, thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so Grace, the tinsel and the toys come from China. It is not even a holiday in China. Why not?
That's right. Well, China is still a communist country. So to China, then religion kind of like is kind of suspicious in China.
I want to talk about how you discovered the gift of Christmas. Having come from a secular or communistic country, you are a student studying pharmacy at the University of Toronto.
Right.
And what happened to you when your grandmother died?
Well, when my grandmother passed away when I was in my first year of pharmacy, then it kind of triggered me to really think about life and then, you know, what's the meaning of life? And so I wanted to find out more. And because of the grief and also at that time, it's the culture shock finally sits in. Then I went up to one of my classmates, and he is a Christian, and he's always very cheerful, and there's such joy and peace in him. And then I kind of get really envious of him. And so I decided that, well, whatever he has, I want that. I want the same thing. So that is why I went up to him and I said, how can I get baptized?
First question, your first faith question is, I want to be baptized.
Right.
Not the typical starting point.
No.
Okay.
No.
What does now the gift of Christmas mean to you at this stage in your life? After all these years, you're a professor, actually, of Chinese theology at Tyndale. What does the gift of Jesus mean?
Well, it's really fantastic story because this is a story of God reaching out to humanity. Despite all our failures and all our waywardness, God still loves us. And he wants to be with us, and he provides us a way to reconcile with him, and then and also want to restore us to what we are meant to be, and that is to be God's children, and also to do His will. And by doing His will, actually, it's quite simple. It's just like what Prophet Micah says: to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with the Lord.
Dr. Grace Ko, I think it's wonderful that a Chinese Canadian who came from a country that doesn't celebrate Christmas came and told us the meaning of Christmas today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Life as a Refugee introduced our next guest to the meaning of Christmas. Please welcome Daniel Yang, the pastor of Trinity Life Church in Toronto, to Contact. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, Daniel, you don't have Christmas in the Hmong culture, but here you are. How old were you when you came to Canada, and what did you recognize about Christmas?
So the joke is I was conceived in a refugee camp in Thailand, and then I was given birth in a hospital in south of Chicago. So,
Okay, all right.
I was in my mom's womb when we arrived to the United States. So, yeah.
And when did you start then as a Hmong family to celebrate Christmas right away?
Yeah,
Like-
so my parents were animists, which meant they worshiped ancestors, spirits. And so my dad was, he practiced that for 41 years of his life. And so we were sponsored by a Lutheran family and kind of did the church thing without knowing English, without knowing traditions or customs. And so I think we just kind of went along with the emotions of how they celebrated Christmas at the time.
So there's a lot of dots to connect here because you now are a pastor that is teaching people how to celebrate Christmas. What happened that you or your family unwrapped this gift of Jesus into your belief system from animism?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big part of it was just the church being the church at the time. They sponsored our family from Laos, and there was a war in Vietnam and simultaneously in Laos as well. And so they sponsored us, they loved us, they showed us the love of Christ. And very practically, they taught my parents how to use a stove, how to drive, how to flush the toilet. And so it's really meeting tangible needs. And I think it was in the midst of that my dad began getting curious about why do they love us so much. And so I think it was kind of through that relationship that my dad gave himself to the Lord. And it's funny though, because like our first exposure, my earliest memories of Christmas wasn't, you know, the story of Jesus. We grew up in the projects, and so public housing, and I just remember the first time Santa Claus came through my front door, and I was thinking, this must be how Christmas is done. I didn't know Santa was supposed to come through the chimney. And so,
You just walked right in.
yeah, and so, but that was our first exposure, but it was kind of over time that we learned the story of Jesus in that.
So now, as you are teaching others, what do you remember most about the gift of Christ coming into your life, into your family's life?
It's interesting as an immigrant refugee, you know, living in a different, strange land, because what it does is it forces you to not just know what you believe, but it reframes everything that you know about the world, in a sense. But you learn how to do theology because you don't have your host culture to really tell you how to behave. And so for us, I think it was taking the story of Jesus and learning that, you know what, it's not just a commercial holiday, that it has real implications for living, and not just living, but the way that we do life in a new world.
Well, Pastor Daniel Yang, you've come and planted a new church in Toronto. What a wonderful gift. And to think this is the kind of thing that happens when we have refugee families come to Canada. You teach us a new way to appreciate Christmas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Jully Black.
We'll do a little holiday song. About the family festivities, you know what I mean? The chestnuts and all of that. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Could you snap like this? Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny little tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. So I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many, many times, many, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, job. Jeff Willingham.
After the break, some closing thoughts on the meaning of Christmas. Well, we hoped you found our story and songs from Jully Black and our global look at Christmas a helpful reminder that there is an inner person in all of us that needs attention. God's light came into the world through the gift of baby Jesus. Jesus, the presence of God, which was given to all of us as a gift that we receive into our life. A heart, mind, and action gift of God with us. And we unwrap that every day. May you find some quiet reflection this holiday season to just sink into that gift for you. So from all of us at Context, Merry Christmas.